everyone, welcome back to another Neat in the Heat video. I'm Sean, and today we have another epic battle. I'm super excited for this one. I've been thinking of more battle kind of different videos that we could do, and so I had to go with what's a really good 10-year bourbon. Is it something like the McKenna or the Russell's 10 that you can get just about anywhere, or is the Eagle Rare, or even the old Rip Van Winkle 10-year that much better? So as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff going on right now. We have this new contraption. It's called the Solo Blind. Another influencer on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram created this with a friend. So it allows people just by myself to do blinds. So what we have here is we have different little contraptions that hold one single Glencairn. They also have little tags, as you can kind of see here, like little dog tags that you can write down what it is. And then there's a lid that goes on top, right? And then blindly, we spin it, we pick them out, we drink them, put them in order, and see which one's the best. So I'm super excited to put this and integrate this into our new videos. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned, right, we have the McKenna aged 10-year bottle and bond, 100 proof. We also have Russell's Reserve 10 years, but not only do we have the Russell's 10-year, it is the highly sought after LLME. Maybe it's not sought after anymore in your area, but all of a sudden it's really kind of taken off a little bit more in the Arizona, Tucson market for some reason. So a lot of people are looking for these. I'm probably going to get another one here in a couple of days just to keep it around, as people start to, like it more and it starts to, kind of fly off the shelves a little bit faster. Then we have from Buffalo Trace, we have Eagle Rare, aged 10-year. This one's a little bit harder to come by. I know that more people are starting to see it at like Walmart. They got a bunch of it at the kind of beer and liquor place that we go to a lot. It's called Tap and Bottle. So they had quite a few of these recently. So I picked up another one. So now we have 3 in our collection. And then if you've seen some of my other videos in that bourbon haul, when I won a raffle to buy the old Rip Van Winkle 10-year. Again, super highly sought after. It's really, really hard to find. It's distilled and aged and bottled at the old Rip Van Winkle distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. So I'm trying not to drink this so much because I want to keep it around because it's really, really good. Obviously, and it's also really hard to find. So this is probably the last video that it might be in, just depending on how the rest of the year goes. Maybe we get some more stuff out of the Van Winkle collection or, the Buffalo Trace Antique collection, and maybe we can do some more battles with it. So let's dive in. I'm going to kind of move some of these things out of the way, and then we are going to dive right in. We're going to put the lid on, so all of those Glencairns are going to disappear behind here. Make sure we have it on. And then as you can kind of see under these little slots, you're going to see everything move, right? So we're going to do it a few times just so that, I have no idea. It took me a little while to get everything set up and poured. I was making other videos for, kind of pouring everything together. So I don't even remember what the order is. So we're going to do it a couple times. I think we're ready to go. We're going to take it off. I'll even let it spin while we're getting ready. And let's take off our first one here because we're going to kind of put them in order out front just so that we can kind of keep track of the order that we're liking everything. And we're going to go from there. So let's get after it. So the first one, very sweet taste smelling, not tasting just yet. Very sweet right off the bat. So yeah, that first one right on the palate. Little bit sweet, a little bit of like that butterscotch kind of sweetness a little bit. It's not too heavily proofed. I don't think any of these are super heavily proofed. I know this one's 50% alcohol. I know this one's 45%. This one is also 45%, and the old Rip is 107. So this one's gonna be the little bit hot, as you say with the alcohol. So that may give it away a little bit, but it's aged 10 years. So maybe the smoothness of that 10 years kind of balances it out a little bit to kind of be more in line with some of these. So I'm going to take another sip of this first one. Okay, it's pretty good. You know, nothing that stands out is too crazy for me just yet. So let's move on to the second one. So move on to the second one here. Put it up here for us. Nothing's really getting to me with the nose. Mm, there's some subtle sweetness to that one. This one has a little bit more like bite to it. I don't know if it's like alcohol bite, but it's just got like this like kind of really kind of almost harsh tasting to it, which I kind of think I know which one it is because I've been kind of going back and forth on with one of these recently. So I may know which one it is, and I'm not trying to guess which one it is. That's not what this is for. This is just trying to do a battle of the 10-year bourbons. But it does have a little bite, not necessarily an alcohol bite, but definitely has a bite to it. Again, these all taste pretty similar. They're very smooth. They're really easy drinkers, right? Besides this one, there's nothing over 100 proof or 50% alcohol. So nothing too crazy on the palate. You know, they're all tasting kind of that, you know, traditional bourbon sweetness that you get. None of these are finished in any way, so there's not going to be any other kind of flavors that are fighting for space on the palate. So let's get into this third one, see where we're at, see if we can pull out anything. Again, all of these are aged 10 years. All of them are, again, similar alcohol content, so they should be very similar in taste. This one is really smooth. I'm not getting that sweetness flavor. I'm just it's kind of almost like a dull flavor to it. It doesn't taste great on the palate, which is a little interesting, maybe a little concerning since I don't know which one's the old Rip Van Winkle that I won, and so hopefully it's not this one that is a little bit dull on the palate that I'm tasting, not tasting, I guess you would say. Hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange kind of flavor. Can't really put my finger on it. Again, super easy drinker. Nothing crazy. Again, we're still learning, still trying to get better at pulling out nuances of flavors. But again, I mean, like I keep saying, these are all aged the exact same. They're all finished in the same type of barrels that what makes it a whiskey or bourbon, right? So they're all done essentially the exact same way, right? So they should be all very similar in taste and smell. But let's continue and let's try this last one, and then we'll go back and we'll see go back through these, see if I can taste anything different, put them in order, and see which one wins. Hmm. That one has a good flavor to it. That one has a very nice kind of sweetness to it. Again, oh man, these are all so incredibly close. I'm going to move this out of the way. These are all really close. I mean, that's kind of what I would expect for these to all be very similar in taste and profile. So we're gonna kind of go back through. Maybe we'll go backwards. We'll try this one. We'll try this one first and see which ones we've got here. Yeah, it does have a really distinct kind of flavor to it. I can't really pull it out. It's a little bit sweet. Oh man, I kind of like this one right now. I'm kind of digging this one right now. I don't know. It's just got a really interesting flavor to it. So I'm gonna put this one here. We'll go back to the third one, or for this one, the second one, going back. Hmm. Okay, that sweetness and like kind of dull kind of flavor is starting to come back. It's coming in a little bit more. I think I might like it. I know I said it was kind of a dull flavor, but now that I've hit it for the third time on my palate, and I maybe get a little bit left on this one, it's kind of good. I don't know where I'd put these first two, so let's kind of separate these out, and then we'll kind of go into these last two. So let's go into the second one or the third one on this second time around and see what we can find. I'm starting to smell a little bit more sweetness on this one. I believe this is the one that I said had a excuse me, had a little bit of a bite to it. Maybe that was the alcohol. Maybe that's the old Rip with that little bit higher alcohol content. But let's find out. That bite's not really there anymore. I kind of like it. I'm I'm kind of trying to go away from this kind of dull flavor that I'm getting here. Um, I kind of liked this one that I just tried. Had kind of a little bit more of that sweetness to it, which I like. I like the Penelope Havana that has a little bit of sweetness to it. Some of the other finished stuff that has a little bit more sweetness to it. The Penelope, toasted marshmallow has a little bit of sweetness to it. So I kind of like that profile. So that's kind of where I'm going to put these at right now. So far right now, we've got the one I just tried. We've got the last one that was on this side here. And then we have that one that was kind of that dull flavor from the beginning, the first time we tried it. So let's go for the very, very first one. Had a little bit more time to sit out, a little bit more time to breathe, if you will. Maybe that makes a difference. Mm. Definitely get like a vanilla, very like strong, like vanilla, caramel kind of taste to it. That one's really good also. Obviously, these are all really, really good. This is not to say that one, I mean, I guess taste better, one tastes better than the other, but it's not to say that one's not better than the other. Man, this is so hard because again, they're just all so similar, right? Age 10 years. Some of these are made by the same people or the same companies that own them. So I just don't know where to put this one. I think this one with that kind of dull flavor is gonna go last. Hopefully, it's not the Rip the Rip 10 year. But again, that's what this is all about, right? Nobody's paying me to do this unless you want to pay me. Unless distillers out there want to pay me, then I'll say whatever you want me to say. Um, This is just my palate, and this is just what I'm feeling. And again, it was 4 bourbons, all aged the exact same way. So let's get into it. Remember, we've got the Russell's 10 year, the LLME to be specific. We have Eagle Rare 10 year. We have Henry McKenna bottled and bond 10 year, and then of course we have the heavy hitter of the Old Rip Van Winkle handmade bourbon aged 10 years. So the moment of truth. Let's kind of get these in here. We'll put them in order in front of the glasses as we read them out so that you can see which ones are which. And then what we'll do is we'll maybe pour just a little bit more just to really see if I can now remember what they all tasted like now that I know what they are. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is the first one. We're going to pull out the tag for the first time so you can all see it. I don't know what this says. I don't know what it is just yet. You're going to be the first ones to see it. This one is the Eagle Rare 10 year bourbon. So I liked the Eagle Rare. Again, it's a harder to find bourbon, so maybe it has something to do with it. Maybe that's why it's hard to find because a lot of people like it. So yeah, that's really awesome. Eagle Rare 10 year was the first one. It was the one I liked the best. So let's keep getting into it. All right, so you guys are seeing these first. You're seeing them before I do. I don't know if it's upside down. I don't know if it's right side up. So I'm going to put it both ways so you guys can see it before I do. What is the number 2 10-year bourbon? It is the Henry McKenna 10-year. All right. So that is number 2. Now I'm starting to think that the one that had the quote unquote dull taste to it is going to be the old Rip Van Winkle. So let's get into number 3. Here is number 3. What is number 3? I'm scared. Are you scared? Not really. Rip 10. All right. So it was the third best one. Again, it wasn't the one with the dull the dull flavor to it and the little bite. So now that we know what these all are, and I will pull out this tag so you guys can see it as well, so that we are not, kind of doing anything. This is the Russell's Reserve 10-year. So from this, what I'm thinking is that dull flavor and that little bit of bite. I've noticed that with this LLME. I've noticed that a lot. I didn't like it, and neither did my wife when we did that. The regular one that everybody was getting, or other people were getting, or other batches, versus the crazy LLME craze that was going on. I after initially liking it and then doing the blind, I started to taste a little bit of a bite that I didn't really like. So we're going to go ahead and just going to keep drinking, apparently. We're just going to do very, very little of each one of these. Go back through. See what it is. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a weird kind of bite. And the flavor is just not super there. Again, we're going to do very little of the Rip Van Winkle. It did come in third. We're going to try a little bit more of it. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. Of course, now that I know what it is, right, I'm going to say it's really, really good. Um, when I'm not trying this, and maybe I'll do like a quick review on this one, but when I'm not trying a bunch of other things and my palate's kind of getting blown out, what I taste on this a lot, there's still some McKenna in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and drink a little bit more of that. But what I taste on this one a lot is my grandmother, who passed away in 2019. She made a apple crisp all the time for me. I really, really liked it. I really love apples. I really love kind of that sugary kind of crumble on top of it. And I remember the first time we opened this and I tried it with my friends and my wife, immediately I tasted apple crisp. Sorry about that. I tasted not only apple crisp, I tasted my grandmother's apple crisp. So I want to do a review so that it's just the solo by itself, so that we can talk about that a little bit more. So we'll try the McKenna again. Just then on the nose, I got a little of like a peanutty taste to it, kind of like I get from the Booker's stuff, the Booker's 2024 line, and their chapter 8, so their little book series, and their Infinite series that they just came out with. There's also a little bit of the Eagle Rare left as well. I mean, it's good. This is really, really good. They're all super good, right? The McKenna one, yeah, barely maybe made it out over the old Rip. Go back and you can look at the video to see how close it really was. But this is just where it ended up. I'm actually, really kind of happy it ended up this way, I guess, for the video. Eagle Rare, the McKenna 10-year, old Rip Van Winkle, and then Russell's 10-year. I'm sure you all, might think I'm crazy that this is the best 10-year bourbon out there that you can get, but that's just my palate. Thank you so much for watching. I was super excited to use that solo blind. It was really, really fun. I can't wait to continue to use that in our battle series, or even just different blinds that we're going to do. I know that I'm going to try and do like a old-fashioned kind of blind, trying to use it in some way or another. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment if you like my choices, if you like this kind of battle situation. Maybe throw a like in there if you like the solo blind. It's really fun. I really enjoy using it this way because it made it easier for me to not know what was in here, right? Sometimes seeing the tape makes it a little bit easy to kind of see. I try and not do it, but sometimes it's there. But thank you so much. Again, go down and like, comment, subscribe on this video. Go look at our other videos. Stay tuned for more battles, more different videos, more Fresh Crack Fridays, and we will see you soon.